Was?
Zuidam wird uns daher empfangen bei der Millstone Distillery, also bei Zuidam Distillers, und wird uns dann schön die Brennerei zeigen. 2, 3 Specials werden wir zu trinken kriegen, werden das Lager aussehen, werden ein bisschen mal Erfahrung sammeln bei Millstone.
When my father started working in the 50s in Zuidam, there were 250 distilleries in Zuidam.
Ooh.
And when he left in the early 70s, there were 4. And in that economic environment, my father thought it was a brilliant idea to start his own distillery. Malted barley liquefies the mash very quickly, and then we leave it for 2 hours, so we want to break down all the starch and the sugar. Then we come to the fermentation tanks. Long, slow, cool fermentations. We do 9-day fermentations. Big 15,000 liter tanks. And long, slow fermentation. And then after fermentation, we do stupidly simple distillations. It's 15,000 liter in the wash still, distill it, 5,500 liters in the second distillation, you distill it again. Third distillation, you put it in the spirit still, you add pre-run and the after run of the previous distillation. And then you distill it again, you cut it again, voorlauf, nachlauf, below cut. And then that is partially redistilled over botanicals, and then we stick it in the barrel. And on Friday I got a letter from Mojo Concerts, basically a cease and desist letter from Mojo Concert that said you cannot use the term lowland because we have claimed that for our festival. I had to either come up and go to court with Mojo Concerts, which had way deeper pockets than me, or I had to come up with a new name. On Friday afternoon/evening, when I had a Saturday introduction. You know how these things are, usually when you're under a lot of pressure, ideas come, so it had to be something Dutch, not windmill whiskey, maybe a bit on the nose. So I thought, maybe we could do something with Miller's whiskey. And I said, Millstone, that sounds pretty decent. So that's why, so I don't like that story. There's a lot of stuff, you see these gray hairs here? Leave it running a little bit more. If the nail polish smell is mostly gone, you can go into the middle cut. It's not rocket science. It's very hard to fuck up as well. So if you are a little bit late or if you are a little bit early, it's not going to ruin your whiskey. Very hard to fuck up. Middle cut. Middle cut starts flowery, very pleasant, a little bit simple. And during the day you get more heavier flavors. Up until the point where you say, this is enough of the heavy flavors, and you want to cut it here. About 55% of my products are in sherry casks. I seem to have a little bit of a sherry fetish. As these are real, what I call real sherry cask or bodega cask or solera cask or whatever you want to call them, they are probably American oak because European oak casks tend to have more oxidation and tannins. They have lots of tannins. Sherry people abhor tannins. That's why they use these casks to death. And they use these casks for 100 years or 120 years, you know. I bought soleras from bodegas that were started by somebody's grandfather. And they were crying in my office that they had them. Seriously. But Macallan had just offered them 800 euros a year to season new casks with their sherry. And they can't make that kind of money from making sherry. So he was crying, but he was still asking 4,000 euros a cask. I never liked the palletized because I don't think it looks as good. But to be honest, when it comes to warehouse management, it is quite convenient. But it saves about 40% in space, so you can put 40% more casks in the same warehouse. It's 100% rye, aged in virgin oak, gives you this lovely color. It's a mixture of number 3 and number 4 char casks. They're both very heavily charged and both are alligator chars. The 4 gives you more like the coconut and the caramel kind of flavors, where the number 3 gives you a little bit more complexity, cinnamon and cloves and things like that. One thing you sometimes find if you use virgin American oak, that you get a lot of ethyl acetate formed, not during distillation, but during the aging. How that happens and why that happens, I don't know. So yeah, Pot Still Distill 100% rye whiskey from that stupid distillery in Holland. Single malt, aged in Oloroso sherry casks. So these are these crappy old 100-year-old sherry casks that you saw in the warehouse, and they give this really particular flavor profile. This is one of my best-selling whiskeys. So we have 2 whiskeys that are together and make most of our sales, which is the Peter PX, which will be up next, and this one.